actually going live? Yes, you are. Oh, well, we're back again. Number 2 live stream. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I wasn't feeling it today particularly. I had my Pfizer vaccine, first one yesterday. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of needles, for one. And I'm not very good at being ill. Luckily for me and everyone around me, I wasn't particularly ill. Just got a very muggy head and yeah, I feel particularly tired. But apart from that, nothing. So I was really quite lucky, to be honest, because I've heard there's a few people out there that do get some slight issues with it. So today we're going to do another mock test. We're going to look at this mock test with Nathaniel. Now Nathaniel has, hi Alex. Nathaniel is my brother-in-law. He's a great lad, really, really great lad. Unfortunately, he thinks his driving is slightly better than it is. So it's quite an interesting mock test. I really hope he's not watching because that would be particularly embarrassing. But there you go. For him, not for you guys and not for me. But yeah, there's some particularly interesting events in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down a bit more and we'll have a look. As you can see, when it was snowing. But yeah, we were in the same bubble anyway, so it didn't make any difference. That's why we're not wearing face masks. But yeah, there's some particularly interesting events. Now listen, if you've got any questions related to your driving or anything at all, feel free to get involved, give me a shout, let me know what the question is. Can't promise I can answer it, but I'll have a damn good go. So yeah, let me know. Right, for now, I'm going to kick off with this.
Road? Did you just check your blind spot when you drove off?
I will also disclaim that this is what.
Good morning and welcome back to Josh's channel.
I will also, yeah, driving test in total because it took me so far back.
Yeah.
I will also disclaim that this is my 8th driving test in total because it took me 7 times.
So, just to reiterate, that took him 7 attempts. This is his, well, it took him 6 attempts. He passed on his 7th attempt. Nathaniel was a bit of an odd egg. He decided, his instructor said that he wasn't ready for his driving test. Didn't listen to his driving instructor. Decided he was ready, so he decided he was going to go at it alone for 3 or 4 attempts. 5 attempts maybe. So after 5 attempts of failing at different test centres, he tried Buxton, he tried Cobridge, he tried Newcastle. I don't know if he tried Telford, you'll have to ask him. He realised that maybe he wasn't ready. Then he got another instructor and a couple of lessons. Back to Newcastle, eventually 7th or 8th test, he passed. Don't know how.
So
I'm going to skip this anyway and watch this
like
in your own time. Okay, so we're just leaving Newcastle Test Centre here. As I say, there are some really interesting events here.
Get pen and paper and write a few notes for you.
Thank you.
You'll have to excuse the rubbish at the bottom of the screen from the
No, yeah, I'm going to give you 5 minutes.
Sat nav. It was from the dash cam. It was one of my earlier videos. Come on, Nathaniel, you can do this. So, okay. And the sun's in her eyes at this point. So look at the sun in her eyes here. Okay, the sun is really in her eyes. Can't see a thing. This is the most dangerous time to ever drive, by the way, okay? Forget nighttime. When the sun's in your eyes like this, if you search online, this is actually the most dangerous time to drive. But be really careful because you just can't see. Okay, so there's an old man, bless, with a thing you can end. Okay, so here we go. So we're coming around the corner, beginning of the test. Okay, now this is a typical driving test, alright? First thing that's going to happen as you go, or some point in the test, you're going to have some crazy stunt happening. And in this case, luckily Nathaniel's passed his test, otherwise I'm sure it could have been a bit worse. There's a guy in the road, alright? Now I assume he's walking the road because it's, as you can see, there's snow everywhere. He doesn't want to walk on the path. He's using a walking stick, so he's probably not feeling that comfortable walking the snow. However, as a learner doing a driving test, someone in the road, you might be thinking, hold on a sec, this isn't quite right. It's going to put a real spanner in the works.
Does he even know I'm here?
I really don't know.
Bless him.
Okay, sunshine, I'll let you pass.
So even Nathaniel, who's passed his driving test, this is clearly thrown him. You know, he wouldn't. Should have just gently gone round it, perhaps. I mean, it's not a normal situation, is it? But it does happen. you know, driving tests a lot, there's always going to be some event that you've got to be able to prepare
As you can
for.
see here, we're going for a little corner cut here onto the other side of the road. Nathaniel doesn't even know that he's done it because he's probably that used to doing it that he doesn't even pick up on it. This would be a serious fault on your driving test.
So yeah, as I've just said there, he's cutting the corner. He doesn't even have a clue that he's cut the corner. This is a typical situation that you're going to get as a driving instructor. Hey Josh, I'm very well, thanks mate. I missed it. All right, Alex. Sorry, mate. I'm good. I'm very good. How are you? I'm very well, mate. As I say, I was just saying, I've had the jab yesterday, the Pfizer jab. So bit of a sore arm, really dead arm. Don't want to sleep on it. But apart from that, bit of a muggy head, bit like a really rough hangover, but without the drink. Apart from that, I'm all right. So yeah, I wasn't feeling this particularly today, but I thought I promised I'd have 4 weeks, and then we'd go from there. But yeah, how are you, Alex? You okay? How are you, Josh? You all right?
You wouldn't feel great if that was on your test, would you? Absolutely not, no. You'd do a poo, wouldn't you? You really would. I'm not exactly sure what the protocol is for
Pretty standard, Nathaniel.
don't run him over. Well, that'd be
okay, so we did check his mirrors there. That was really good.
Well.
Blowing down nicely there. Checked his mirror again. Can't argue so far. Really, really good.
Protocol is just don't run the man over. Don't hit the man. Yeah.
Don't run the man over.
No,
That is the protocol. That is the protocol.
No.
Don't hit the guy in the road. Pretty simple as all driving is actually. It's just looking for hazards.
In one of the
Consistent. Next video is going to be talking about commentary driving. Half of driving is literally looking for hazards. It sounds simple, but actually keeping your concentration for that long quite difficult.
No, you don't dent your car either.
Hey Josh, I'm good mate. How are you? Are you looking after yourself? What have you been up to this last week?
It's like £4 to go clean. Yeah. That's just, you know, that's an expense I don't need. It really is. It really is.
Nathaniel put as much effort into his driving test. Comedy.
We're quite early on. So
he might have had a better chance.
God did actually give mirrors, so if you could maybe use one occasionally.
Well, I'm using my mirrors.
Which one? Just this one? You've got 3, mate. You've got 3.
So
if you go around, if your car moves across the road, you need to be using that side mirror.
Yes.
I'm a bit mean to him. It's not very nice, really.
I'm trying to navigate that now. Oh, turn left. So what's we go right? Right. So I'm going to check my mirrors now. Yeah. I'm going to check my right-hand mirror. So obviously you can't see what I'm doing. I mean, I've been checking my mirrors.
Okay.
Here we go with the new voice. I don't know. This might be an upgrade, Dave. This might not have been the same voice from then. By the way, nice car, Dave. I saw that on Instagram. Is that your car? What's not much, Josh? What is not much? Been working? Not been working?
100%.
Been enjoying the rain?
As Nathaniel's just kindly pointed out, he has put the clutch down more than 3 car lengths away, so this is known as coasting.
Okay, I'm not talking too much about coasting just because you can't see it on the camera. I've got to invest in another camera for the pedals, and I will do, but apart from that, I can't really.
Perfect driving test.
There's no point trying to explain it all that much. Not your car. Why have you got a picture of someone else's car, Dave? Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, quick thing to note down here. There's not really any speed limit signs here. There's only this nice easy way to tell. You can't see any speed signs. You're going down the road. You're wondering what the speed is. Street lights. You don't know what the speed is. You're looking for the street lights. If you see them, you are thinking 30 miles per hour until you see a speed sign saying otherwise. If there are no street lights, then you're thinking 60, well, national speed limit, until you see a sign saying otherwise. They're really the golden rule to generally go by. There are some exceptions, not many. But to be honest, if you follow that rule, you've got a lot higher chance of being safe and competent on the road and passing your driving test.
I nearly went over a zebra crossing.
Really? Nice.
I was was speeding.
Very interesting.
In a 30 zone, did 36.
Are you into your cars then, are you, Dave?
Yards,
Yeah, I've done that.
turn left.
And I forgot my license.
See, they failed you.
That's a true story. My first driving test, I actually forgot my driving license. It was actually in Shrewsbury at the time. Guys, could be anywhere. So it was about 45-minute drive from where I was, and I only realised about an hour before my driving test that I needed my license. Stupid. I was young, 18, didn't have a clue. My instructor was very new as well, so he didn't think to remind me. It's a learning curve for him. So yeah, so that was the first fail, because I didn't even go to the driving test. I just spent 70 quid. Didn't turn up because of the driving licence with me.
I didn't.
As you can see, there's an awful lot of snow about on the roads. I'd expect most people with at least a couple of brain cells to think, perhaps I should start to slow down. Not Nathaniel.
Assume it's 30 miles per hour, 50 clock. Yes. Yes, I assume it is. Oh no, Josh. That's the worst. I was just talking to the wife today. I was just saying I am going to upgrade my Wi-Fi as well, because 3 children, 2 of them now playing World of Warcraft, and the other one watching videos about hair or makeup. I'm not too sure. It's definitely time to think about upgrading. Very controversial because it's grill. What on earth's controversial about its grill?
You did. You did. You also got me because I was like, is he going to brake or are you going for the full
handbrake?
So yeah, most of Nathaniel's test, I am literally scared.
I like it. It's working.
Especially
It's
here, because
working.
as you can see, if you look at the road
Effective.
here, he's driving through snow. I'm not in control of the car. It's not comfortable for me at all. To be honest, this was your driving test.
There's actually snow as
If it was
well.
this much snow,
It's alright,
they'd
just checking.
probably cool it off. I couldn't say
Ooh.
definitely. Look at this. This road is solid with snow, so this is, you know, chances are it would be cooled off, to be honest.
Get up here.
Stay just off the gas completely, mate.
Or maybe they take you on a test route that didn't have snow, but I imagine it'd be cancelled.
Future reference, don't try and do a mock test in this.
Yeah.
The car is not got this much pull in second.
The end of the road.
I'm saying that because I was so uncomfortable. It wasn't nice at all. It's not nice driving in the snow yourself, let alone being a passenger.
Turn left.
As you can see, this corner of the road is completely covered in ice, frozen snow. I am starting to twitch.
Yeah, because the car's going to carry on straight. He's turning, and the car can easily carry on straight on. So it's not nice at all.
Great route you chose here, mate.
Oh, I did not expect.
What's controversial about the grill, Dave? I don't know a great deal about cars, to be honest with you. So I'm not too sure.
Before going over to the other side of the road. Absolutely fine. It's the right thing.
Across the other side.
The fact that Nathaniel's on the other side of the road because of the snow and he's going around the car is absolutely fine. It's the right thing to do because the road's perfectly clear. What's not okay is he hasn't checked his mirrors before going over to the other side of the road.
Crashing the snow.
That sounds like a good excuse, that.
Yeah. What in on like your test there?
Yeah.
Where you have to go the other side of the road.
Yeah.
With the what you did.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Was it safe to go on the other side of the road?
What you said it was.
Again, blinding lights.
Left
This is just winter. It's not even late.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's 20 past.
Same with puddles. If
20
you need
past
to go
3.
around, if it's safe to go around, you know, if
It's
it's
not
obviously all
late
clear,
in the
then,
UK
yeah, you go
at
around
all.
having a parked car.
It's just winter weather.
Yeah, just treat a puddle or some serious.
It's not a comfortable drive when the sun's like that.
So I'm feeling a bit warmed up now. So can we start from now? No.
I don't think it works like that, mate. I don't think it works like that. I wish it did.
Maybe that's where I was going wrong.
Did he just wave at us?
I didn't see it.
So here, I asked Nathaniel to pull over on the
After that part,
left.
Can you pull over on the left?
Yeah,
This one.
like that.
Can't.
Okay, so here I've asked Nathaniel to pull over on the left. Now I didn't.
Yeah. So I asked Nathaniel to pull over on the left. If an examiner asks you to pull over on the left, they will say when it's safe to do so.
I assumed Nathaniel, having driven for 3 years, would understand that you should never park in front of a junction because this is a serious fault.
Yeah, that's what I assumed, but more for me. It was quite ugly. Oh, okay. Okay, so some people just don't like it. It's not against the law or anything. Right. So, just to clear it up, it is not good to park in front of a junction. You won't pass your driving test if you do. Try and avoid doing that at all costs. It's just not good. Right. Yeah, I will have a look. I'll have a look after this, Dave. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
I used to have a one
You're
series.
parked in front of a junction though, aren't you?
I mean, somewhat.
What? Two car lengths from the edge of the junction?
That was with work.
Well, yeah, I suppose I'm a bit close.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit on the close
Did you do that
side.
on purpose?
Definitely no one through, is it?
I didn't.
Now Nathaniel realises where he stopped. He now wants to quickly move the car and he forgets to check his blind spot. There's another minor.
Stop it here, mate.
Okay, now I've said there's a minor there
You
for
stop
not
this
checking
here.
his blind spot.
When the examiner says,
That's
can you
touch
pull
and go, okay? That could be a minor or it could be a serious fault. In this case, I'm giving him a minor, which is very generous because there's not a vehicle coming. Had a vehicle or a bike or anything else be coming, that would very, very easily turn into a serious fault, and rightly so. At the end of the day, if you don't check that blind spot, there could easily be a car or a bike, especially with electric cars now as well. You can't hear them anywhere near as well as a petrol or diesel car. Got to check the blind spot. You cannot see in the mirrors if a car's in your blind spot.
over on the left, you choose when it's safe to stop, not me.
Wait a minute. I hadn't stopped yet. I was just.
Did you just check your blind spot when you drove
Yes.
off? You didn't check your blind spot.
Yes,
your blind
I did.
spot's there.
You don't know how far back this eye goes.
People in the road, so before you start.
A lot of people on the road today.
There really is. There really, really is. Because of the conditions, we're going to avoid doing an emergency stop today.
Opal develop?
Yeah, I knew
No
you were.
way. Really?
I'm glad it's snowing.
Opal develop a manual electric car?
I'm not.
What's the point, first of all?
At the end of the road.
Because I'll tell you what, I don't know if, have you ever driven a automatic car, Dave? Because I've got both, and I can promise you, I can't see the point in a manual car.
Left.
I will only teach manual as long as manual continues. Second it stops, second ambulance, taxis, police cars, any of those start going automatic and you no longer need a manual license, I'll move to automatic because there's just no benefit to a manual car. Why? What on earth? Yeah, I think it is completely illogical. I can't see the point in it, to be honest. But, don't know. Don't know.
You're back on sat nav now.
Oh no, you haven't passed your test yet. When's your driving
Turn
test?
left.
Really like that late braking. It makes me feel good inside.
Yeah,
That
I
does.
told you my tactic.
As I said, this
Told you.
driving test scared the crap out of me. I'm just not.
At the end of the
Since
road,
teaching people to
turn
drive, I'm
left.
not a very good passenger because I expect them to brake early, and I'm not used to people driving normally, so I don't feel in control. And if I'm not
Do you know
feeling
why
in
I'm
control,
braking so late?
it scares the crap out of me, to be honest.
Because I'm trying my hardest. The
You
thing on
sound a
your
bit of a control freak. You.
He is braking really late. It's making me really uncomfortable on all the junctions, but I'm trying not to say anything because, as I've said already, this is a new car for him. He hasn't driven this car before, so I've given him a bit of leniency.
Coasting.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to not.
Get it sorted, Dave. ASAP.
Well,
Really
that means
important.
brake late.
I know
Just
what-
means you don't have to put the clutch
Best
on.
thing you could ever do.
If you say when you're not being examined,
You will, mate, you will.
I'm feeling it.
It's not about money. All right.
It's towards you.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You need someone that you've got some
Fluid, it's just frozen.
background on.
This is
Don't go
why
to
you
red.
always
My
use-
advice would be to go to red, and nothing against red at all. There's some
I'd be surprised if
fantastic
you've got
driving
any in yours
instructors
that
I
with
have,
red,
actually. It's
but
brilliant.
basically you
You're
need
weeding
to
it,
find
really.
the actual instructor that you're going to have with red. Go directly to red or build plan, for instance. You can't specify the instructor you get. You can ask them which instructor will I get, and then you can do some background and find some information about that instructor. If you're happy with it, then go ahead. But I wouldn't just go in blind and just pay red. Oh yeah, here's 500 quid or whatever. without finding some information about the instructor. You know, it's just a lot of money. But as I say, there are a lot of good instructors with Red, and I've got nothing against them. Just make sure you get to choose the instructor, because also not so good ones. Want to start driving lessons after my mock exams? Yes, I'm hearing a lot of that. I've got a lot of students myself that are talking about their mock exams, and they want to do that before their theory. And I'm saying, well, why didn't you think of that before? Because you're actually ready to drive now, and you're wasting money giving me money when actually you should be going for your driving test. But no, I mean, in your situation, I completely understand. You haven't even started, and that's the right thing to do. Yeah, the right thing to do. Makes sense. Completely makes sense.
It is one way, that's it.
Might as well get that out of the way before starting at all. Whatever you do, when you're starting to drive, you start to learn to drive, first thing you do, get your theory sorted. God, the blinding light from this is just ridiculous. I mean, I look chinky enough at the best of times. Did I say that? Probably not. I look a little bit slanty-eyed at the best of the time. I don't know. I have to cut that out. But yes. Okay, so country road here is something worth noting. If you see in the distance, there is actually a bend. So you can't see around the corner. Now, someone around the corner taught me this. On the corner. The police have taught this, okay? How to tell if a bend is particularly sharp or not. If you look at the end of the road, you can see the bend. Now, what you're looking for is the hedge on the opposite side of the road. We're bending round to the... Oh, camera's opposite. We're bending round to the left. If that hedge carries on, if you start seeing round the corner, then you can tell it's not a sharp bend. From here, it might look like a sharp bend, but if you watch the hedge as we move, you start to see further around the corner, and that just shows that it's not such a sharp corner. This means you don't need to change your speed quite so much. You can keep it the same. However, if you don't see further around the corner of the hedge as you're travelling, then it's a very sharp corner. Basically.
To eat in the snow?
Green car at the moment, Dave, it changes. At the moment, I'm really looking at a 40 midlife crisis. That's what I'm looking for. 5 years time, I'd like a Mustang. Really like a Mustang. My friend who's a dentist has just got a Mustang. I'm very, very jealous. But he is over 40, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. By the time I'm 40, 5 years time, I'm thinking petrol and diesel cars are probably going to be gone. Though it may very well change to some Tesla style car. I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, if I could buy a car, if I could afford to buy a new car of anything I chose, tomorrow it would be probably a Mustang.
That's definitely the right gear
Anything
for the
I chose, I
six,
guess.
you think?
That might be different.
I don't think it's...
But I'm being realistic. What can I afford?
No.
I wouldn't say it's the optimal gear.
I want to find out if the new M3 is more economical than the Toyota Prius.
Okay, so if you're not optimally driving, what's the examiner going to do?
M3 in second generation.
What am I
Prius, the
talking about?
M3 is more economical at slow speed. No way.
It's going to give you a minor for it.
That's
You would not
ridiculous.
give me a mind if
Give
you're
you
on the
a-
mountain
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't
It'd give you a minor.
Toyota Prius anyway, but
Optimal gear.
no, that's insane. That's
Is it
absolutely
environmentally
insane.
friendly?
Rear wheel drive. M3 told me. Rear. Are they rear? Are they four wheel
I think if you have a look at the
I think
the
they're
test
rear wheel
report,
drive.
it says environmentally friendly driving.
Tell me. I think they're rear wheel drive, which means they're deadly in the snow. But very, very nice cars. Can't fault. Car.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Wonder.
It's not environmentally friendly.
This is blinding. This.
What else?
Actually, it was environmentally friendly. If it was in too high, lower gear, then it would have been environmentally friendly.
Absolutely
I
blinding.
didn't think about it. I should have done what I said.
What the whole bloody land, mate.
Turn right, then turn right.
So this is the reverse of one of my favourite test routes actually.
When you were talking about optimal driving,
Go on then.
optimally, I'd really like to let that person behind us know before we get to the junction.
Turn right.
Yeah, he signalled very, very late. That's completely
Turn
useless. So,
right.
as you can see here, there's a sharp bend sign, which is a bit of an understatement. This is more than a sharp bend. If you're coming the other way, you can't get around this corner any more than 10 miles per hour if you want to stay on the correct side of the road. Little Fish got my test next week. Any tips? Thanks. Well, congratulations, little fish. First of all, on getting your test next week. Have you got a cancellation app? Second, what tips do you want? Have you done some test routes?
Okay, so Nat shouldn't
for
be
another
signalling here
up the
because
corner.
it's actually a continuous road, but the sat nav's throwing him off a little bit. We're going to...
Okay, quick tips then. Let's go with, first of all, make sure your day's clear for the driving test. Try and book the whole day off if possible. Tell as little people, try not to tell anyone apart from, you know, family, whatever you want, but just minimize it. So if there's not too much pressure, you don't want that weighing on your mind at the same time, going home and worrying about having to tell people that you haven't passed your test. Not that I'm saying you won't, hopefully you will, just don't add the pressure to yourself. Make sure you have gone on the roads as much as possible within a 15-minute radius of the test centre, because you could be going anywhere in that vicinity of the test centre. So get yourself familiar as possible, especially the exits from the test centre. That is really, really important. Make sure you know where to park, etc. Make sure you've got somewhere to go for a wee before the test. Okay, so arrive slightly early. Make sure you've had a wee. Now, whatever, I don't mind talking about it because it's really important that you do this. Because I don't know if you've ever, I know I don't want to go off, but if you ever looked at war or anything else, or just at the beginning of the fight, the first instinct is I need a wee. So make sure that you do have somewhere to have a wee. Don't drink any caffeine. All right, you've got adrenaline pumping. You do not need any energy drinks, any caffeine at all. All you need is, well, whatever you want that doesn't contain caffeine. Water is ideal, whatever else. That's it for right now. If you've got anything else, you've got mine on the 5th of October. Excellent, Ben. That's fantastic. And I apologise, Ben. I know you've been phoning. I'm sorry, mate. I've just been so busy. As I said, I got my jab yesterday as well. So I haven't been taking any calls or anything else. Been feeling very sorry for myself, Ben. But that's absolutely brilliant. Ben, I hope you've got a cancel. You do have a cancellation app, haven't you? Keep it on, looking for a closer one, because you will get a closer one. Okay, you will definitely get a closer one. Just keep going. Okay.
Let him off that.
M3 has a 510 horsepower. You are joking. 510 horsepower. Holy moly. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, I respect why you like the M3. I get that. That's amazing. I haven't driven a car with more than 203 horsepower, to be honest with you, Dave. So, yeah, no, I respect that.
What we're not going to let him off is he's in the wrong gear. He's in third gear in a really tight corner where he should be doing less than 10 miles an hour, which caused him to go to the wrong side of the road. So this is his third serious fault.
That's not right turn, is it? It's
not.
Continuation.
It's not, but I'm going to let you off that.
Alright, as you can see here, he's gone onto the wrong side of the road. Just so we're very clear, this is an automatic fail. Nice and simple, you're on the wrong side of the road. If a car was there, and that's all they can base your test on, if a car was there, you would have hit the car. Simple as that. It's rightly so.
That one, okay.
She's confusing me.
On the wrong side of the road,
Not
though.
confusing you, Nathaniel.
I was avoiding the eyes.
You're being
That's all right.
self.
Okay, that's alright. Sooner than that. Stinks, actually. That's you.
You're not ready till October, so you're happy with the date? Okay, well, that's brilliant. Excellent, Ben. That's perfect then. I'm just pleased he actually found one, because I know you were getting very stressed about it. Is that what you wanted to talk to me about, or was there anything else? Similar sound to Josie Gibson. Is it is it Josie? I don't know. I'll have a look. You're making me want to change it. What do you want, Dave? Got a man on there? Because it can be done. Right, what we got? Something's coming up. Okay, sharp bend to the right.
Well, it's sat nav 3:48, so we've got what, 20 minutes left.
National speed limit. Okay, so now he's doing.
Now, as you can see here, Nat's doing between 30 and 40 miles an hour all the way down this country road, even though this country...
Okay, little fish. This is a massive practice situation. Okay, I can give you all the tips in the world, but practice makes perfect. Are you driving with parents, or have you got your own car, or is it just with your driving instructor? But basically, it's a case of, I can't say this enough, but it's a case of looking down the road, to be honest. It's looking for the next possible hazard. It's commentary driving. You're looking ahead as far down the road as possible, and you're looking for those cars on the left, just looking for hazards. And when you're meeting traffic, you're going to pick up on those cars on the left, and as you're going, you're looking to see when is the next available opportunity to go out. W5. Nice, Dave. You know a bit about cars. That's amazing. So as you go, you're looking for hazards, and you're going to see the car on the left, and you're going to be thinking, can I go around that car, or do I need to wait? Simple as that. And as you go around that first car, you're then looking for the next opportunity to get in and deciding on whether or not it's good to go or not. There's not a lot else. Just looking for space. That's it. You're looking for spaces. As you're going down one of those roads, and I'm assuming, in my head, I'm thinking one of those terrace streets where you've got cars on the left or on the right or on both sides, and all you're looking for is spaces between the cars where you can get in to let the next car through. And all you can do is just look for spaces. So don't panic. And whatever you do, make sure you're going slow. Okay, the best thing you can possibly do is go slow. Okay, this is a key thing. When you start getting a meeting traffic situation, a lot of people panic and think, I want to get through there as quickly as possible, and they start trying to put their foot down. That is the worst thing you could do. The best thing you can do is, when you're starting to feel that panicky, is slow down. Okay, slow down. You're going to get through it nice and safely without risking yourself or clipping anything else. You're going to get it through nice and easily. Yeah, that's the best advice I can give off the top of my head without getting it up on screen. Little fish. You're driving with parents as well. That's great. Well, then all you need to do, little fish, is go to areas where there are roads. And I've talked about the terraced houses. Get to those roads. Have a go. Just have a go with the mum and dad. If you're ready for your test, then you're pretty damn competent. It sounds like it's maybe your area where you're not quite as confident as you are with other areas, which means you just need to get there. And it's grim. You've got to get there and have a go. Just do a bit more in those areas. That's the best thing you could possibly do. You know, your examiner, your instructor wouldn't suggest going for the test. Have you got an instructor, or are you just going for it on your own? But they wouldn't suggest going for the test if they didn't have faith in your ability. Dave, use the same engine as the 5. I'm driving with my parents as my instructor is busy at the moment. Yeah, and that's great, Ben. If you had my advice, Ben, I would try and contact as many instructors as you can. Get a few test lessons with a few different ones, if anyone is available. To at least see if, you know, how close you are. Because you might not think you're ready, but if you had an instructor, they might think you are, or vice versa. You just do with a constant feedback, even if it was once a month. You know, so don't just stick with one person. If it means waiting till October, that's all I'm saying, because October is a little while away.
Country road is actually a national speed limit. Now, for this country road, this is perfectly appropriate because, as you can see, it's windy as hell. There's potholes everywhere. It's snowy. This is the appropriate speed. So you have to use the appropriate speed for the road.
I really like it.
You're not keen?
I thought it'd be alright, but I'm more concentrating on. I'm not concentrating on driving.
Little fish, are you still here?
What are you concentrating on?
This is probably what I was doing on the test. I don't know. I mean, obviously on some level I'm concentrating on driving. Or else.
Is it almost like you're trying to, because you know the camera's there? Is it because you know you're being tested?
Mock tests are very interesting with the student, okay? Because especially with the camera there, it does put a lot of pressure. It's far more real, as if an actual driving test than it is without the camera.
They're just driving,
right? And they will end up, the nerves get to them, and they do end up making a lot more mistakes than they would otherwise. So very beneficial because it gives them a far more real situation. And if people that pass that test, you know, it's exactly the same.
I failed once in Buxton, and I shouldn't have failed. It was genuinely like not my fault. So we were.
I've got faith in you, Nathaniel. I'm sure you are correct.
then we slowed down. I think.
Great, good. The other thing I was going to say to you.
Right turn, and she thought that I was going to go up the wrong side of the road.
Right.
For whatever reason. It's beyond me. I don't know.
She
I'm
broke.
going to say something about your meeting traffic situation, and I've completely forgotten.
And I was just like gobsmacked. Couldn't believe it. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was going to drive up the correct side of the road. Why did you?
By the way, you need to be practicing as much as possible. You need to go with mum and dad until you feel so confident that you hope that you get a meeting traffic situation. Okay, because the last thing you need is the extra nerves of worrying about whether or not get a meeting traffic situation. Get stuck in there as much as possible
She wasn't having it.
until you're comfortable.
I thought I was going to go.
That's what driving is about. It's about being comfortable in every situation.
So annoyed because I'd been. This was like my fourth test, I think, or something.
Now, generally, when we see someone with a car door open across the road, we'd start to think about slowing down. Not now.
I teach in. Hi, Mike. I teach in Newcastle under Lyme. Don't know if you know that. I didn't have a clue about Newcastle under Lyme until I moved here from Telford. But yeah, I teach Newcastle under Lyme, Stone, a bit of surrounding area like that. Where are you from, Mike?
Actually, because she used to take me to Buxton.
Yeah, watch this guy.
Yes.
Going back ever so slightly, okay, because it is quite an interesting one. Yeah.
She used to take me to Buxton.
So yeah,
Watch this guy.
this is one of those situations where you just need to slow down. If someone's got the car door open, that means there is a person on the road. It's just quite simple. Slow the car down. Whoever's in the passenger seat is not going to feel safe. And it's again being aware of the hazards. It's just being aware that there's no other way of putting it.
That was one for awareness.
What? I saw him.
Yeah, but why don't you slow down then?
All right, yeah, I do teach a bit of Stafford as well, Mike. Yeah,
But I knew he was going
Turn
to.
right.
yeah, I teach a little bit of Stafford. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos.
Like that woman knew you
Have you
weren't
booked
going to
your
go
test
up
yet,
the
Mike,
road.
or just looking at learning to drive? I mean, I'm completely full at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't see the sat nav, right.
Now you can clearly see here two speed signs at 30 miles per hour showing a new speed zone. Unfortunately, Nathaniel hasn't seen it.
Crikey, what's wrong with people today?
Turn
It's not
right.
good for my anxiety.
And that's when you stumbled across this.
What, in the road?
Well, you've got an old man walking down the middle of the road, someone that can't drive. You've got a man leaving his door
got
open in the middle of the road.
What? That's a real test route.
You've got snow everywhere.
Really useful, to be honest. There's a lot of
Worst
key
day
parts
ever.
in that for Stafford. Even if you don't get that test route, there's key areas that would be on almost every test route in Stafford.
So, yeah.
Okay, so where are we?
Okay.
Yeah, don't ever trust sat nav speed, by the way.
37 all the way through that 30 zone
Yeah. So he's doing 37 now.
as well.
Well, when I looked at it, it was 35.
You used the sat nav, did you? You
speeding.
trusted the sat nav.
After 400
Because the sat nav tells the truth.
turn
So where are
right.
you, Mike? Have you
What were you checking?
got a test booked? Are you learning to drive? Are you just
like
thinking
everyone
about
else.
learning to drive?
So it does get a little bit
Driving
messy.
test for Newcastle, but need one in Stafford, but not any yet. Okay. Have you got a cancellation app? First of all, first
Down
question, have you
here,
got a cancellation app?
with
If
Matt
not,
speeding,
get one.
we didn't even touch on the fact that he's randomly stopped behind that car. He didn't check his mirrors as he went round the car or round any.
Turn right.
Just need that test now. Yeah, you do just need to get a cancellation app. It's worth every penny. Doesn't matter which one. They all do a very similar thing. The app I use, cancellation test now or whatever it is, it's very reliable, and you can pick an automatic test function. So get every test that's the next available test, basically. Yeah. So really useful. That's your best option, to be honest, mate. That's probably your only option at the moment. It will come up. I know. It's very frustrating, but it will come up. Something will happen. You know, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it will at some point, because people are cancelling tests. As an instructor, if I get a student that's booked a test and they are not ready, I am not taking them, because it's not good for them, it's not good for me, it's not good for anyone. And there's no point wasting their time. It's not safe. So they would then move their test, which means that test would be available for you. There's other instructors in that situation, other students in that situation. So something will come up. It will.
Much better mirrors and much better braking.
When's it booked for, did you say? Stafford's a very interesting test route area as well, because it's not, although there is dual carriageways, it's not like a slip road style dual carriageway. So, such as the A500 in Stoke, you've got one for Newcastle, where there is the A500. In Stafford, it's a bit different. There is no dual carriageway as such. There is the A34, but that's roundabouts as opposed to slip roads. So it's a bit unusual, that.
The driving test is really hard, isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
Would you agree?
Yeah, it's just like...
Should agree, because he's done 7 of them.
You're sitting in a car with someone. If you're
After
a young
400
driver or new
yards,
driver,
cross the roundabout. First exit.
you're sitting in a car with someone who's a pro, aren't you? And they're judging you. And it's like just 40 minutes of being...
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Mike, but it will come up. It is just easiest Stoke or Stafford. Best thing to do: go online, search pass rate Stoke or pass rate Newcastle and pass rate in Stafford. Okay, that would be, if you wanted to compare, actual pass rates, then that's your best option. If you just want to have a look at, it depends what you're used to. It depends what you like. I'm used to Newcastle, so I'm confident with Newcastle. I mean, I'm happy with Stafford as well. What I'm not happy with is Cobridge. I wouldn't advise anyone to drive in Cobridge unless you live in Cobridge. If you live in Cobridge, then absolutely get stuck in, because that's where you live. That's what the sort of traffic you're used to, sort of roads you're used to. They're just very different styles of driving. So yeah, and you've said Stoke, not Newcastle. So if you're saying Stoke or Stafford, I would go Stafford. If you're saying Newcastle or Stafford, I'd say the same. But that's just my opinion.
Cross the roundabout.
That doesn't mean it's true.
First exit.
It's
Like, when
more
you put
what
it like
you're
that,
used
it's
to.
horrible, isn't it?
I'll let you just do this first.
It's snow, isn't it? Gears.
Now, Nathaniel hasn't even noticed this, but he's actually about to merge from 2 lanes into 1 lane, and he's not looking in his mirror to check if there's a car on the right side. He's not even looking ahead. He's actually looking at probably would be close.
Instead, look in your mirror.
Right, so what I was talking about here is important in the fact that you've got 2 lanes merging into 1. It's a very common thing which people tend to forget. You need to check your mirror. You need to just check there's not a car also merging next to you. Because as I say to my students, 2 cars coming together do not make 1 big car. We are not transformers. They are not transformers. You need to double check that there's nothing there. So yeah. It could be a minor fault if there's nothing there, unless there is something close, and then the examiner has to put the brake on or give you a heads up, and then it turns into a serious
You
fault.
went from 2 lanes there.
Cross the roundabout.
Well done. You're absolutely right, but
Very
they're
good
not
that he's actually
judging you
slowed
to say
down this
how
hill.
badly you're doing. All they want to do is make sure you're driving safely.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Do you know what I mean?
Now, if you look at the sat nav here, it actually wants Nathaniel to go straight on. Unfortunately, he misreads it, and he decides to get into...
Yes. Nathaniel, he's a good lad. He's a very good lad. He's actually my brother-in-law. But yes, it's driving something to be, desired on occasions. He told me the other day that he tried to go up a dual carriageway the wrong way. Well, I say tried. He did turn up the wrong way up a dual carriageway. When the lights were coming at him, he realised, the car lights, he realised wrong. Yeah, so it is a little bit scary. I can see why he's had 7 tests. But yes. Yeah. So Stafford and Newcastle, Mike, I'd say very similar. It's what you're used to. And you're going to be driving in Stafford, so I suggest just trying to get Stafford, although pretty similar. They've both got the A34 right next to them as well, to be honest. So, no, I wouldn't worry about it. If you want to do a mock test, I'll do a free mock test with you in Newcastle or Stafford. If you want that, drop me a message on either YouTube, Instagram, or my website, whatever. Give me a shout, and we'll do a free mock test. But yeah, absolutely. They're very similar routes generally, so I wouldn't worry too much. Apart from the A500, if you live in Stafford, your instructor might not have taken you onto a dual carriageway with slip roads, such as the A500. That's the only one you think about.
Left lane and realizes too late. Now he does the absolute right thing. He goes the wrong way. By doing this, he receives no more to do in the wrong lane.
Second exit.
Oh no, I'm going left here. So I'm just a bit confused by that. I'll have to go left now.
This
So you just want to make sure
is
you're driving
a
safely,
nightmare.
that's all.
Okay,
So, for
because
instance,
as you can see,
speeding is against the law. So anything against the law is going to be an automatic.
as you can see here,
GG.
he's going downhill. Absolute
After
nightmare.
100
Really
yards.
one. I was not too bad here actually.
Yeah, and anything that's
It's a little...
On his way back.
That's fine. Yeah.
I know.
I know.
slow
So there we go.
down.
34. That saying 34 means he's actually going 36, which is your massive cut-off for failing a driving test, because speeding is against the law. And this road is renowned for it because there's street lights all the way down. And as we know, the rule is if you can't see a sign and the street lights, it means 30 miles per hour. Yeah, no worries, Mike, at all.
It's your car, it's not me.
Ah, okay. I remember that.
Bloody accelerating.
I will remember that.
To be honest, Bohemia, passing the theory test. It's literally, I'll be honest with you, past my instructor theory test, which is a lot harder. I didn't pass it the first time. I went on the app and I was getting 90% every single time, and then I failed the first one. So don't be too concerned about it. And remember that it's only, £23, which is a lot less than a driving lesson. There's no limit to how many times you can do it. So just first of all, the most important thing is book it back in again. Try not get hung up on the fact that you failed the first time. It's not actually a massive deal. Call you Ahmed? Or called you Ahmed? Call you Ahmed? Ahmed it is. So Ahmed, as I say, don't get hung up on it. Just literally book it back in. It's less than a driving lesson. It's not worth worrying about. Okay, don't worry about it. All the best advice. Which part did you fail on? Did you fail on the questions or the hazard perception? Yeah, same as me. Mike, I passed the second time. Call you, yeah. Ahmed, I passed the second time, same as Mike. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Just literally book it back in. It's not a big amount of money. The biggest issue is having to go there and do it. It's not a massive deal. So don't worry about it. Just book it back in. If it's the questions, yeah, you've literally got to go through the questions. First of all, go through the questions at least once, all of them. Okay, and there's probably 1,000, so it takes a little bit of revision, and best advice I can give is spend 15-20 minutes every day, not 5 minutes, not an hour before you test or anything like that. 15-20 minutes every day before the driving test or the theory test, and yeah, that's the best advice for that. Go through the questions as a list first of all, so it shows the answers, so at least if you get them wrong, you know the answer. Good, you've got 39, that's fantastic. Then once you're getting all the questions right, then start doing the mock tests. Okay, and if you're consistently passing with a high mark, then I would say that you're ready and just have another go. If you're not passing, then you definitely need to be going through the questions some more individually rather than the mock tests, because the question gives you the answers at the end of the question, as opposed to doing 40 questions or however many and then being told how many you've got right. You've just done all those questions. You spent 20-40 minutes doing all those questions, you're not going to go through all the answers and get the correct answers. So if you're not passing the mock test, you need to go through the answers individually. You are getting all the answers right on the mock test, or most of them, practicing your mock tests until your theory test. What's that? That's the best advice I can give. And I know myself, I'm not a massive textbook person, but make sure you revise the signs. So get a book of some form, have a look, or even online, just make sure you go through all the road signs as much as possible. And look at all the road signs. Make sure you know those, okay? Because no amount of questions will cover all of those. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give, mate. But don't get hung up on it, whatever happens, all right? Really not a biggie, okay? I understand the driving test a bit more because it's a bit more money, or quite a lot more money actually. But the theory isn't. £23, something like that, isn't it? Tell me if I'm wrong. And you don't have to pay an instructor or anything else. Yeah, the 4-in-1 kit is absolutely, fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. So just use that. All right?
Silly car.
10% plus 3. You taught me that.
10% plus 3.
Don't think I did teach you.
Me?
I really don't.
36.
I wouldn't have taught him that.
You were doing 37.
Go left on the roundabout. First exit.
You're welcome, Amit, and I wish you the best of luck. Let me know how it goes. Make sure you stay in touch.
Oh, that is funny.
Isn't it?
Mirrors, what bloody fickle things.
You know what that's for though, don't you?
Reflection.
Why hasn't anyone told me? What on earth? Sausage.
You do understand
Have the window in. What's wrong with me?
what they use.
Am I driving in a way that would...
Yeah, you can always do the test again. As you said, Mike, no big
Compromise
deal
everyone
at
else
all,
on the road,
Amit.
yeah.
No big
I
deal.
wasn't going for that, but okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Like joking.
What an absolute sausage.
Generally what we do when that happens is we gently touch the brake and start to slow down. Just in case they trip over or don't get out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't put your foot down like and...
Yeah, as I try and tell people, it's no big deal with the theory test at all.
You saying
It really
anytime-
isn't,
That's having another minor here
the bigger
because he
picture.
hasn't checked his mirrors before going around the vehicles.
in a way that's...
I was saying I was driving in a way that would seem that I don't know what mirrors mean. Yeah, and...
Because you've really had to focus on doing it.
So these are the town centre
Cross the
roundabouts
roundabout.
in
First
Newcastle,
exit.
Mike, if you're interested. So they're all sort of multi-lane roundabouts. Some are dual. This is more of a dual carriageway style here, as you can see, because there's a central reservation that's solid. There's two separate roads. What am I
After
putting in
200
on?
yards,
Yeah.
go right on the roundabout. Third exit. Go right
What
on
are
the
you laughing
roundabout. Third
Because I was
exit.
waiting from that roundabout for you to change lanes, just staring at you. Like, please change lanes. Please look in your mirror and change lanes.
I did that time.
I know you did.
Yeah,
I know.
thank you. Check that minute.
Okay, so when we come off roundabout, we generally come off in the left lane. I'm going to assume we're turning right at this roundabout, so that's why he hasn't. But we will see.
Go to the right lane.
400 yards, cross the roundabout.
have it.
Second exit.
I'll be honest, Mike, if you haven't been down here and you've got a test booked and you actually, there's a chance you're doing a test, then do get round town centre. Because you should know around the town centre. There's a couple of roundabouts that you could do with actually practicing on. You've got enough nerves on the day without actually
Exit.
Always do it.
Then turn
panicking
right.
about that as well.
Next roundabout.
It's lucky that's where we're going. Oh no, it's not. You're in the wrong lane.
Turn right. Swapping.
No, he was in the wrong
Yeah,
lane.
so I
Okay,
just
never mind.
Drive down this road like every day.
Cross the roundabout. Second exit. Then turn right.
Oh, where's he going now? This splits off here, so is he not checking this out? Yeah, he's not checking this out now. Look at me again. I'm looking at him like, please change lanes, because I know in a second this is going to split up in two different directions.
Turn right.
There we go. He did check his mirrors though. Unfortunately, I haven't got the rear camera on, so we can't see what's behind us.
So I was in
Lights
the
are
wrong
changing. He's braking very hard.
Usually would have gone through that.
Yeah. See,
That
so
wouldn't be good. That would be dangerous.
Can you go through on an orange legally?
On an amber, when you say can you, it's if it would be unsafe to.
right. So with an amber light, because I get this a lot. If you're already going through and it would be unsafe for you to stop, or you would end up stopping on the crossing, then yes, you'd be fine to go through an amber light. What you do not ever want to do is speed up when the light goes amber. That is not okay at all. Find the time, since I work 40+ hours a week, and me, Mike, I understand completely. No, I understand, mate. It is finding the time. Yeah. So you've got to prioritise. You've either got to prioritise your driving test, or you've got to prioritise work and put the driving test on hold for a bit, mate. You just can't do both. Excellent. What happened, Josh? You upgrade? Go Virgin or what? Yeah, Josh. Mike. There's nothing else I can suggest, mate. If you're going out, you say you're going out with the parents. If so, can they drive you? Can you drive them to work, or at least find a reason to go around Newcastle? I guess it's the other end, isn't it? It's a good half hour from Stafford. Yeah, something to think about. Or otherwise, don't worry about it and just keep pushing your test back until you get one in Stafford, because you will get one in Stafford. Fact.
To stop.
Okay.
Then yeah.
I was talking about orange lights, wasn't I? Amber lights. You're fine going through a light, an amber light, as long as your wheels aren't touching the line when the light goes red. As long as your wheels are not on the crossing at all. I wouldn't advise ever trying to go through an amber light, but I'm talking about those occasions where your front wheels are already going through as it's amber. You've got no choice. The safest thing is just to continue on at the normal speed. That's it. There's nothing else you can do.
You know.
If your wheels are touching it when it goes red,
shouldn't your lights,
it's
the
game
lights should
over.
not go red while your tyres are on it. You know, it's not a case of putting your foot down when they go on amber to try and get through. It's a case of if you're already on your way through,
Makes
then
sense.
yeah, it's safer to
First
continue
job.
through.
First thing you do when you used to phone AOL, they used to say, restart the router. Obvious.
You wouldn't have made it there.
That's what you said.
Nightmare, mate. Yeah, I'll go for Stafford as well, Mike. It's where you're familiar with. Stick with it. Just keep pushing that test back until you get. You will get one. There's no
Yeah.
ifs or buts. It's just when.
Yes.
After 300 yards, go right on the roundabout. Third exit.
So I've got another driving test coming up next week on the next live stream. Okay, it's gonna be fresh. It's gonna be real fresh. So, good friend of mine, Michael. He's also a driver. He wanted to test himself to see how he could actually drive. Now, after passing his test, he's passed. That's the year before me, so Christ, 10 years ago, 2012, 2010, 2011. Very, I was crying this mock test.
So far.
Maybe it was, you had to be their situation, but very entertaining.
Major,
But what I'm going to do is
I mean, there's such thing as a major.
we're going to do the mock test live without any feedback or anything else, without me talking over it, and then I'll remake it into a video after. So that's going to be next week, so I'm going to have that ready for next Thursday. Something a bit more interesting. We'll have the rear camera on as well. But yeah, it's going to be entertaining. Any tips for parallel parking? Just can't get it. Okay, first of all, nice and simple, Michael. Practice makes perfect, and I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. Okay, it's like learning to swim, riding a bike, whatever else. Practice is key. Second, I don't know what your instructors taught you or whoever has taught you. I tend at the beginning to teach my students lovely red roses. Lovely being L, one turn to the left once you're next to the car. So you're next to the car, lovely, one turn to the left, your car comes behind the other car. Then you're looking in your left mirror for the slice of pizza, which is a curb, and your car. Okay, once you see the slice of pizza, it'll look like a slice of pizza in the mirror. that is 2 turns to the right. So lovely, 1 turn to the left, red, 1 turn to the right, roses, another turn to the right. Okay, as your car comes into the curb, nice and straight, you're then straightening your wheel up, and that's the best advice I can give. The only other bit of advice I can give, okay, and I just repeat this, I'm like a broken record with this, look behind you. If you're one of those, okay, a lot of people get confused with their left and rights, right, and they turn the wheel the opposite way when reversing. The best thing you can do is, for many reasons, look behind you, all right? If you're parallel parking, look behind you. You're parallel parking on the left, so you need to look to the left, okay? I know the camera's on reverse because I can't help it, but look to the direction you are planning to park and turn the wheel in that direction, all right? So make sure you're turning the direction you want to go by looking. Going forward, you look forward. If you're going backwards, you look behind you and turn the direction you want to go. That's the best advice I can give. What's it like being a driving instructor, Josh? Josh, I love it. I absolutely love being a driving instructor. I mean, I wouldn't... you can't work too much. I can't do more than 5 days. 6 and 7 days, I've tried that. It's hard work, really hard work. And I'm talking mentally. You know, it gets me very... getting snappy. Can't do it for more than 5 days. It takes a lot of practice because the concentration, you know, as I said in this test that I've got with Mike next week that I'm going to show you, he was gobsmacked because the concentration it takes is insane. It really is, because you've got to focus on them as well as yourself, and you're doing it all day. So you've got to take lots and lots of breaks. Biggest advice. But it's your own business. You know, I get to manage it myself. There's a lot of benefits to having your own business. I can choose a nice car that I want. I can choose who I want to teach. I meet a lot of people. I love talking. I love helping people learn. So it's absolutely fantastic for me. It really suits me. I can work it around my children and my family. You know, I'm taking a day off tomorrow. I'm going to Alton Towers. Anyone? But yeah, so it's going to be a good day. But yeah, you can really manage it how you want. So it's your own business. I love it.
100 yards, turn right.
Got 3. I think as well. Do you know Alan from Newcastle Test Centre?
Yes, I
Glasses.
do. Yeah.
What do you do, Josh?
I said I was one of the. Is that a name?
The Wicked Witch of the West. No, that's not a name.
I know it's not. At the time said, I hope you don't get.
Maybe he's not there anymore.
There was 2.
He was talking about one of the. Nathaniel's actually talking about one of the.
So is that a name?
At the moment.
The Wicked Witch of the West. No, that's not a name.
I know it's not a birth name, but
students tend to know her as.
Well, do people know her as?
It wasn't that bad. She was very nice, and she. A lot of people in the past, but wasn't always the most friendly when she was tired.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah, and he
luckily
didn't have anyone ever pass with her.
Castle.
Like, didn't have a single student pass.
She did pass people. Oh God.
I bet you drive similar when you're driving.
No.
Turn left.
We're coming to the end of the test now. We're coming to the A34. This is by the hospital, by Stoke Hospital.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know.
What's scary is this is actually Nathaniel taking it easy.
I'm really not. This is just bad.
Nathaniel taking it easy, which, you know, scares me really. It really does.
It drives well. They don't make any mistakes, or any serious mistakes. You know, show that they're a competent driver. They can tell straight away if someone's a competent driver or not. Yeah. Apart from that, it's then just finding where the mistakes are.
After 400
Okay,
yards,
so
turn right.
swapped lanes there from the left lane, the normal driving lane, into the right lane. He's done that because he knows we're turning right, and on a dual carriageway, the right lane is for overtaking or
You
turning
have
right.
reached your
Simple as that. Again, turning right into the test centre. We've got the central lane here to make sure you don't slow the traffic down on the left. And then we are turning into the test
didn't know,
centre.
did you?
Test centre is
You
just there
didn't.
on your right.
I just pull over
But
and
we're not
look.
going to go there because the gates are closed.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I
I can't believe the quality of
definitely
this.
did, but
Really disappointed. I need
at
to
what point
have a look at
Throughout
what was
the
so
day.
right
the
there.
manoeuvre,
Okay.
throughout the manoeuvre,
Yeah.
mirror signal position, perhaps didn't do in the right order.
So I'm going to give Nat some feedback now. But for you guys, this is really important. It just shows how bad habits creep in when you've been driving on the road for a couple of years. You know, Nat's been driving for 3 years, and already he's forgetting his mirrors. He's forgetting all the simple things. And did you see how quickly he was creeping up with his speed in areas that he really shouldn't be? So really.
But yeah,
Do a review.
as I say, this is someone who's passed a test. He actually believes that he's passed his driving test because he's just so out of touch with what is good driving and what isn't. So it's something to think about. He's not much different to a lot of people on the road. You know, he's not. I'm not saying he's a terrible driver. I'm just saying perhaps a bit out of touch with the rules of the road. But we have talked about it since, so hopefully, really helped him and benefited him for future. As I say, next week we have a driving test with Mike. Mike has also passed his driving test 9-10 years ago, so that is interesting. Mike is very shell-shocked by the test because he's just completely forgotten what it was like. Very entertaining test, as I say. I was almost in tears, but yeah. So that's it for me today, ladies and gents. It's been an absolute pleasure. So yeah, thank you very much. Any questions or any suggestions or anything at all, feel free, pop it in the comments below.